The union representing public elementary school teachers is holding meetings with their members this week as negotiations with the province on a new contract drag on. For the latest on this, let's go live to CP24's Bakari Savage. Bakari.
Good afternoon, Jamie. So right now, the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, they are having their solidarity walk over here to Nathan Phillips Square. They are celebrating 25 years of their organization. This is amid contract negotiations with the government regarding pay. And what's on the table is 1.25% per year for each year of their agreement. And for more on this, we're joined live by Education Minister Stephen Lecce. Good afternoon, Minister Lecce. Thank you very much for taking time to speak with us. So first off, let's get you to respond and elaborate on the 1.25% offer.
Well, first off, we're disappointed that the EFTO has made a decision to hold a strike vote on just weeks before kids are going back to school. We think it's so important that kids remain in school after all the difficulty they face. And honestly, I'm not sure what's more important than stability for kids. With respect to the offer, we've been negotiating. We've had over 170 meetings, Bakari, with our education unions. It took us 22 to get a deal with QP. We're at over 100 with the teacher unions. We just want a deal that keeps kids in school. That's the paramount priority for the government. We've offered something that we think is reasonable to the teacher unions, appreciating that the educators would make among the highest in Canada with strong pensions and benefits and sick leave. But at the end of the day, we've agreed we're going to discuss the details of the negotiation at the table. And by potentially striking, and walking away, that's not going to get us to a deal. So the government's going to stay at the table, respect the confidence of the table, and work hard on behalf of parents and families and taxpayers to keep these kids in school. Nothing matters more, Bakari, than the stability of a child, especially after the last couple of years.
And Minister Lecce, along those lines, just a little while ago, earlier this morning, we had a chance to speak with a mother of a fifth grader, and she says, look, teachers, they don't go into this profession to get rich, but also she understands that the government, you all have budgets that you need to work with. What's your response to her, and is there any more wiggle room? How much more is the government willing to make concessions in order to avoid this strike?
Yeah, I got to say, I appreciate so much the work that our educators do. They literally can change the life of a child, and a lot of responsibilities in their hands. So we value what they do. It's why we literally pay them the highest in Canada. It's why we've seen a sharp rise of teachers on the Sunshine List. But at the end of the day, beside the pension and the benefit and the sick leave, which is among the best, for me, the priority is retaining these good quality people and getting back to the basics in the classroom. And for that parent, I think their anxiety is that their kid has finally had a good year, a stable year. Extracurriculars were back, clubs were back, Bakari. These kids were thriving. We saw social, emotional development, physical and mental health was being improved. And yet here, weeks before back to school, there's this threat. I think it is unfair. But I do want to say to you and to everyone watching, there are still creative ways we can get a deal. Never lose hope. Parents have seen this before. Every few years, what it feels like every year, there's a strike mandate, and they do these types of things. But look, while this will happen, we're not going to leave the table or be deterred from our mission, which is getting a deal that provides stability for children so that they can get back to improving their lives, particularly when it comes to reading, writing, and math. So my message is cautious optimism that if we stay working together, put the welfare of children first, I'm convinced we can get a deal. But of course, the first principle is these kids got to stay in school.
Okay, Minister Lecce, as we wrap, I do have one last question. I'm standing here right now as 700 members of the EFTO. They come here for their solidarity walk, for their photo. They're going to be taking or celebrating 25 years of what, Doug Ford last week called the Ontario Dream. That's what they are reaching for. What is your response to that as they've been operating for the past year without a contract?
I think we have to keep fighting for the Canadian dream to make sure that our young people never lose hope. And I think what I'm looking forward to for September, because they would have got into this for the kids, and so did I, for the next generation, that's why I ran, is because I believe we need to give them a sense of hope and optimism. And this September, we have a new language curriculum with 2,000 more educators in the classroom. We're going back to basics on literacy. We're teaching phonics as well as cursive writing. We're bringing that back, financial literacy in every single grade. We have a new reading screening strategy. Every child in senior kindergarten, grade 1 and 2, will now be assessed for their reading with new supports. I mean, look, I'm excited about what's possible if we work together. Put the interests of children first. We have new investments, $680 million more dollars, 2,000 more educators. Like, we're on a roll of momentum. We've modernized our curriculum, Bakari. We are doing good stuff. But if we provide a sense of instability and we remove them from the classroom, that sets them back, and no one would tolerate that. It's just unfair on these kids. So let's continue to collaborate and sit down, not leave, not strike, not walk out. Let's just be the adults in the room and get a good deal that we can all live with, that protects the in-person learning experience for young people in Ontario.
Education Minister Stephen Lecce, we thank you for your time this afternoon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Jamie, along with that, you can see that some of the 700 members have started to gather here at Nathan Phillips Square. Shortly, we will be speaking with EFTO President Karen Brown, and we're going to bring that to you live coming up. Jamie, back to you.
Thanks for that, Bakari.